This is an extract from the Leader podcast by the Evening Standard. The whole thing is available on all major podcast providers. Restaurants, pubs and bars across London are scrambling to be ready for the new high alert restrictions coming into force at midnight, as economists warn the measures will cost the capital an extra £10 billion. Hospitality industry leaders say the Tier 2 status ordered by Health Secretary Matt Hancock yesterday could be the final nail in the coffin for many. Our editorial column says the death of the sector cannot be allowed.
The tier system was supposed to make things simple, replacing a patchwork of local lockdowns with a clear 3-point ranking system. What it has in fact done is introduce a different sort of chaos, and a more expensive one. In the space of a week, London has been bounced from Tier 1 to Tier 2, giving restaurants and businesses barely enough time to accommodate one crippling set of restrictions before another has appeared. We have called for the government to show its workings, to be clear about its rules, to listen harder to business, but above all, we say enough. We do not support any further restrictions or another lockdown. Control the virus, yes, but in a way that allows us to live with it. A repeat of the hard lockdown is not the answer.
Our consumer business editor Jonathan Prynn is here. Jonathan, with all these restrictions and the threat of more to come, this city has had enough, hasn't it?
I think it probably has, or at least certain sections of it. The hospitality sector, which we keep talking about, but is huge for London. Many hundreds of thousands of people employed, billions created for the London economy and the broader economy, and just, something that London has a world leading reputation for. And that industry is once again on the floor. I had one leading hospitality boss saying to me this morning, I've just lost count of the number of daggers that have gone into the back of the hospitality sector in London, and this could be the one that pushes people over the brink.
What do they need then? What are they looking for right now?
Well, a point they make is that with Tier 2 status, you don't get any financial support, whereas in Tier 3, where certain establishments are forced to close down by law, you get support, you get a kind of son of furlough support for your staff, 2/3 of pay paid by the government. And some businesses are also entitled to grants. They're not huge, £3,000 per business, but could make a difference to a small venue, a bar or a pub or something that's operating independently. None of that is available for businesses that are in Tier 2 territory, which is London and Essex, because it only applies if you are forced to close down by law, not by just not being viable as a business.
So with some businesses literally just hanging on by a fingernail right now, if there are any further restrictions, just more or less anything, they're worried that'll be it.
They're worried it'll be it. In fact, Kate Nichols, who's the head of UK Hospitality, the trade body for the sector, said this morning that she fears that 200,000 jobs will be gone this weekend in central London hospitality. 200,000. I mean, that's sort of 3 Wembleys almost. It's an incredible number of people who will no longer be earning, spending, putting money into the economy. They will be signing on for benefits instead. So it's a huge knock to the whole economy, and I think all we can do is hope that Tier 2 status doesn't last, certainly beyond Christmas, hopefully not as long as that, but you have to be realistic as well. The timelines seem to be around 6 months. They expect this sort of phase of restrictions to be in place. So what's going to be left standing come next March, who knows? But there will be huge numbers of empty premises in central London, but around the high streets of all over London.